So, if we're going to go towards Thunderblight Ganon, here's what we got to do. We got to figure out what our inventory should look like. At this point, I'm sort of planning on breaking down Thunderblight Ganon's armor. Sorry, shield with a two-handed weapon, and then using said two-handed weapon and mostly probably arrows to fuck him up. To me, that suggests actually getting rid of this Royal Guard's bow to make it so that we can use arrows without worry. Getting some more good two-handed weapons. And then getting, and also getting some more fairies, which is actually what I'm going to do right now. No, not old shirt. I want warm doublet. I think one of the things we can do here, I don't know how far away the okay, we're gonna try the thing. You want to get the travel medallion first? Isn't the travel medallion like crazy late in the DLC? I think that would be a lot of. I think that would be a lot of effort, right? Am I misremembering? I feel like the steps to get the travel medallion are relatively. Whatever you do, do not hit drop. Whatever you do, do not hit A. It's one of the mazes. Relatively easy. It's the maze above Akala. Okay. We do not have a shrine near there. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Not like this. Leave me alone. Do not. No, 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 no. Also, can you switch gear while also holding stuff? Let's find out. Nope. Are you glitching shit? I would not consider this a glitch. Would you consider this a glitch? If it's a glitch, if you would consider this a glitch, I won't do it. I've heard that the game still he doesn't want to use wind bombing. I swear. I'd consider it a glitch. When I think glitch, I think you're running up against a wall in a way that makes you break through the wall or climb up the wall. My understanding of this fairy thing is you just hold the fairies in your hand so that the game doesn't think you have any in your inventory. I guess that does sound kind of like a glitch, huh? All right, fair enough. I think the max we'll be able to carry then is for practice. And I know it's just for practice, so I wouldn't feel terrible about doing it, but I don't want to do any glitches. Or exploits. I think that for the game will not spawn me fairies, if I remember correctly. And by if I remember correctly, I mean if I've been told correctly. So I think it's like 2 is the max you can have if they're going to spawn anything in for you. Wind bombing is a glitch. Fairies is a cheat. A cheat? Now that's an interesting, like, etymological question. I don't know that I would call that a cheat, right? Fairy, like, what we were just talking about doing. To me, I think I hear cheat and I think you are manipulating, like you are like entering Rosebud or whatever in The Sims to give you extra money. I also wouldn't necessarily call wind bombing a glitch either. Yeah, I feel like wind bombing is just like the physics of the game work a certain way. You employ those physics to your help. Glitching to me means like something, an unintended consequence occurs. Okay, this Akala thing is going to be, we got to go all the way up from here. Sure, let's go for it. We'll at least start. We'll start the route. We'll start the route. You're lying to the game to get extra health. I'm lying to the game? Hey, that's an interesting like anthropomorphizing. I can't say that word. I used to be able to. Anthropomorphizing? You're lying about not having fairies? I'm lying? I find that a really funny use of the word lying. Chat is, maybe it's the energy I'm bringing to stream today. I feel like chat is bringing some energy today, too. All right, we need to go all the way off that ledge right there to get where we're going. I kind of feel like Breath of the Wild taught us that there is no wrong way to play this game, but that's just me. I love that, Julio. I mean, it is an interesting conversation about, like, the definition of bug, or of, like, glitch, exploit, cheat. I think that's probably a really interesting conversation, just because of the, like, language stuff that's going on there. Calling one of those, like using, so let's say it even is a cheat to do something specifically in a game. Calling how you are cheating, lying to the game, I just find very funny. To me, like, lying is a conversation. Lying is like withholding the truth or purposefully in a conversation. I don't know. I'm not even saying funny wrong. I'm just like, that's funny. That's funny. I don't think wind bombing is a glitch. It requires a skill to use it. I know because I don't have it. Yeah, like, to me, my understanding, not to reiterate this point, right? But, like, my understanding of wind bombing is that you are just... Now, I think there's a guardian on the way up here, right? My understanding of wind bombing is that you are just using intended physics and, like, perfectly aligning that shit so that it gives you an unintended boost, right? It's speedrun tech, but I don't think it's a glitch or a cheat or a exploit, right? Wind bombing is an exploit, period. Excellent. So now defend your case. You've made your case, now defend it. You can't just say intended mechanic, unintended results. So I don't know that, but intention gets really interesting, right? But intention gets super interesting because this is a game where a million different elements play together, and the game really, really encourages you to do things like mixing those elements to make unintended quote-unquote results, right? Shrines have multiple solutions. You have to start a fire, you have to stay warm, but there's multiple ways to make each of those happen. There's a physics engine that makes those things possible, right? To me, the way one bomb... I'm going to do it, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to be so fucking mad. Interacts with another... This one's for you, Aikilos. And I swear, if one person asks me to wind bomb again after this... If the definition of exploit is intended mechanic, unintended results, I think we're exploiting constantly in this game, right? I think we're exploiting most of the time when we come up with any unintended solution. I think me in that shrine where you can use magnesis to use the swinging mace balls and wrapping them around the thing, I think that would be called an exploit. In my heart of hearts, I don't feel like that's an exploit. Is wind bombing a little bit different? I don't know. Maybe? I honestly don't think so, but, like, maybe. Now, that said, the fairy thing, I would call that somewhere further along the spectrum of whatever that means. You know, whatever the spectrum is, I'd call it further along the spectrum. Because it is, like, that's using a, like, manipulating the physics engine to do physicky things, that's one thing, right? Using a, Getting on a raft, holding a metal item using magnesis to push the raft that you are on, that's not an exploit, I would say, because you're just using the physics engine as intended to come up with an unintended solution. Now, holding fairies so that the game checks your inventory to notice that you have 0 so that it will spawn in more fairies. You're not manipulating the physics engine necessarily. You're manipulating the game's the specific part of the game's code that checks your inventory. That's not physics. That's something entirely different, right? So I would say that's a little bit further along the spectrum, for me at least, personally. But the thing that I still get really back to on this is, like, intention, I think, means something different in Breath of the Wild than it means in a different game. Right? I think with fairies, you're creating an unintended mechanic, which to me makes it a glitch. I would agree. What about wind bombing? Intention makes inferences about the designers, which we frankly do not know. Yeah. And frankly, oh, the other part of this that's really interesting to me is that, like, inferences about the designers and also probably prioritizes the designer's intent in a way that I don't think we need to do or is beneficial to do necessarily, right? Let me walk you through what I mean by that. We're doing this so we can fast travel here. I personally tend to fall into I will call it a trap, of wondering heavily a lot when I'm reading a novel what the author intended by, what the creator intended by this string of words, this parallel between this chapter and this contrast between X character and Y. But there's also a lot of really good reasons to sort of set author intention aside the minute you enter the book and to sort of treat it as its own living world. And anything you find interesting in there that can be contrasted has less to do with the author's intent and more to do with what actually, like, made it on the page, if you will. So one thing I would say about that is to like continue with our point. Like, oh yeah, there it is. Run. Whether or not a physics engine that is, like, very flexible in how things interact with each other is part of the game designer's intent in this game, it certainly, quote unquote, made it on the page. It certainly made it so that that certainly exists in many ways. Lots of, like, we can all agree, lots of elements in this game that the stuff, like, interacts with each other, you know? In a way that even if we haven't explicitly heard if it's a design feature, it certainly has some, like, design, like, some evidence that it was sort of on purpose. The fairy thing, I don't get that same feeling from. I don't know. Getting more stamina is good for the fight. Yeah, I'm not in a, like, we can get more stamina if we need it, but I'm not in a, like, that's a high priority for me kind of situation. Enough stamina to make it. I have stamina food, so we should be. Okay, so where is this medallion in here? Front seat question. I don't think intent matters. If a game has a mechanic and it's fun, do it. If it takes fun out of the game, don't do it. I think that's interesting. Don't think game developer intent ever matters? What about a game like Celeste? A game with, like, a beating heart, an emotional story, a game with like a message behind it. Does intent matter any more in a game like that than it does in a, like, open world physics-based game? I would say maybe it does. Okay, I have to get to the shrine. I don't have the map. This is going to be really interesting. Then jump down the hole. Then get blown up by guardians. Then die. Then get out. Any front seat on how to get to the shrine? Any front seat on how to get to the shrine? Left side. It's fine. We don't panic. We've never panicked a day in our lives. Climb and map. I don't have a map. Left side most north possible. Can I say how much I appreciate everyone's engagement here? We're here for the debate and for Ryan blowing himself up. I do think this could be a fun way to do this. Let's try this. I have never done a labyrinth like this. This is probably just better for the rain. Probably just better to just do this for now. We have stamina food. Let's use it. Let's go to the top. See if we can find our way through the over the top thing. Long story short, I think if you've built a game that is Roblox. I've never actually played Roblox. I think if you build a game that is Valheim, your intent about what you hoped the game would be, and then the question that spawns from that about what you as a player can feel okay about glitching, exploiting, and I'm not here to moralize at anyone. What you could feel okay about, or what you should consider if you were to decide what you feel okay about exploiting, glitching, etc. I think it matters a little bit less if the game is basically a physics engine with a story overlaid sort of at the last second. Not that that's how I feel about Valheim, but you know, it's a game. It's a progression engine with a. This is so fucking sketchy, by the way. North is possible, which is left. It's a progression engine with like milestones laid on top of it to help you keep moving forward. But if your game is an emotional, what about like a short hike or oh, you can just run along this part? Jesus fucking Christ. If your game is like has something where the gameplay itself is sort of tied to the, we're gonna go as north as possible and then swing around. No. It's fine. This place is kind of awesome, being up top. Where there's some like sort of meaningful journey that like forms the core of where the game is focused. Man, I don't know. I think the fun of a story-driven emotional games comes from the story and emotion. I still don't think the developer's intent needs to matter. Okay, game like beginner's guide. Walk me through the process of how a game developer's intent does not matter, Blood Moon, in a game like the beginner's guide. Fuck. I wanted to reach chat. Is Beginner's Guide a game? That's a great question. Left side of the main building with the shrine, there's an opening in the wall with a ladder. Thank you, Katilla. IDK if I agree that in games with a message, quote-unquote, the intent matters more. Like any art, the creator puts unconscious ideas, beliefs, and philosophies into the game. Oftentimes, I think those unconscious effects reveal a more interesting thesis/big idea than games art when the intention is very clear. Hilariously, I couldn't agree with you more. But I do think that... but here's what I will say. See, so Bitter Blue, I couldn't agree with you more, but here's my other thought, right? I think the conversation about what bigger piece of meaning emerges from a game or a work of art, despite what the author intended, I think that conversation is way more interesting, way more fun, way more fruitful when you have material to work with when it comes to intent. Way more fruitful. Specifically, if we're looking at the author's intent when somebody writes a grocery list versus when someone writes an emotional novel, like there's just going to be more oomph there. There's going to be more material there. There's going to be way more flawed, incorrect, unimportant, whatever. There's going to be way more intent there, you know? And I'm not saying that Valheim's a grocery list, but I am saying, like, some stuff has higher is the wrong word, but, like, some stuff has more intent shoved into it, good, bad, or ugly. Beginner's Guide, Stanley Parable, Slay the Princess? Does it matter what the developers of Slay the Princess intended? I think if you're a player who doesn't care, then no, it doesn't matter. I think if you're a player who takes their intent, deconstructs it, shoves it through the lens of, like, what ideas were they unconsciously throwing into here? Then maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't, depending on what you're doing there. But I do think that when a game, like, especially with gaming, Valheim and Slay the Princess, I don't think the author's intent in either of those games defines how you play it or how much you enjoy it. But I do think one of those is a way more fruitful conversation in terms of taking that intent and drawing any conclusions from it, you know? Slay the Princess has intent oozing out of every pore. Valheim has a progression engine, you know?
The moon rises once again. Please be careful.
This game, if it didn't have a hero's journey in it, with specific... with memories, with specific, like, parts of that story highlighted for you, would have a different level of intent. That's the wrong word. Would have a different, like, concern than if it were just the physics engine at the base of it or whatever, right? Is that better or worse? No. Yes. I don't know. But the interesting thing for me that I really don't know much about is, like, if there's more intent involved, does it change? Because here's what this really gets down to. Here's what this really gets down to, in my opinion. When you're defining exploit, glitch, lying to the game, etc., is intent at all involved in that conversation? Period. I don't know. I kind of lean towards probably not. But is intended game experience, which is a form of intent, at all involved in that conversation? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying I shame you for doing it. I'm saying, like, it's an interesting thing to think through because we make the meaning of the games, right? Like, so if author's intent for this game doesn't matter, RIP to anybody who was hoping to see me quickly get this labyrinth, by the way. If author intent, game developer intent doesn't matter at all, then first off, that's fine. If you feel that way, totally fine with me. Then why do I have, but for me personally, if it doesn't matter, why do I have hesitation about the fairy glitch then, right? Because I do have hesitation. I have something inside of me that hesitates at that moment. Partially that's because of the limits I put upon this run. I don't want to do it in certain ways. Because I want to make it more difficult for myself because I want to make my own meaning from this journey. I want this 3-heart journey to be, I avoided easy ways out I learned deeply, inherently, the combat mechanics of the game. I that kind of thing, right? Like I engaged with it in a way that I felt comfortable sort of containing in this way. But related to that is some sort of feeling or gut feeling or fully thought out feeling, something about how it includes like a mental picture far off in the distance of my brain about intended versus unintended. I don't know. A lot of it is what the person personally believes the intended game experience is to define what is outside of that bubble, right? I think the important thing is just not to say this game sucked if you played it a way the game wasn't intended. That's probably true. So somewhere over here, there's a ladder, huh? Am I on the right spot? I think intent is relevant when talking about exploits, but not really so much when it comes to glitches and cheats, because those, in my opinion, can be more objectively identified on a technical level as something that a normal player is, quote unquote, not supposed to be able to do. A writer's intent is never one for one with reality. What do you mean? Say more about that. Drop down to your left, just right here. I think it's probably right here. I think it's this thing right here. Ladder. Let's go. Let's go. Thanks, chat. I agree the player has zero responsibility to play the game as intended. No moralistic aspersions here. I know I just spent so long arguing that point that we agree with. But now I disagree with myself. It's an interesting question, and I probably have to set it aside for now. But does the player have zero responsibility to play the game as intended? No moralistic aspersions here. If you play a game, do you have zero responsibility to play the game as intended? I don't know. If it's not zero, I think it's probably pretty close to zero. But I think the real problem part of this anyways happens post in the part of experiencing a game that sort of happens post game anyways, right? What I mean by that is like I think you just have to activate the shrine. If it's zero, then why are you even playing the game? I could okay. I can talk both sides of this argument for 4 hours. So here's what I feel. Games are weird. Games are weird. They're a little bit different than novels. They're a little bit different than so many other things, right? Games in some ways are just playboxes. They're playboxes you purchased. If you purchase from the store oh, we should get the fucking thing. Jesus Christ. If you purchase from the store a big old tire tractor, here in the rural Midwest, people do this a lot. If you buy like a tire tractor from one store, and you buy a shit ton of sand from the other store, and you buy a plastic shovel from a third store, and you put those in your backyard, tire, sand inside, shovel, like you've made a little playground, right? Like you've made a little place upon which play happens. If I purchase from Steam Minecraft, well, first off, I don't think I can get it from Steam. If I purchase from Microsoft Minecraft, I don't know that I do to argue on the fact of like on the side of a gamer has zero responsibility to play a game in a way intended. I don't think it fucking matters what I do in my backyard with that sandbox as long as I'm not hurting anybody else, right? I don't think it matters. I kind of don't think it matters either what I do with the Minecraft that I've bought at that point. Where I do think it really starts to matter is in every step that occurs after that lonely game playing experience. Play the game, do whatever you want with it. Exit, go to talk to your friends about it. I think at that point it starts to matter whether or not how you have engaged with intended gameplay. Post about the game online. I think it matters whether or not you've engaged with intended gameplay. Speedrun the game, frankly, I think it matters, but only so that you can label it as like glitched or glitchless. Like, you know, like it's the thing. But the thing about art is that it don't happen in the silo of you experiencing it. Some part of art exists in the afterwards. In the you reflect, and here's where it gets weird. Even without other people, I play Minecraft. Whatever I do in there, fucking fine. It's fine by me. Whatever I want to do with my sandbox, I do it. But then 2 days later, when I'm bored and I'm thinking about what I did in Minecraft and I'm reflecting on the way somebody else sort of set up a sandbox and I came to it and I took a giant dump in the middle of it, or I tossed all the sand outside of the sandbox, cut the tire into shreds so that nobody could ever play with it again, and lit the plastic shovel on fire. My reflection on what I did with that probably, I think, should include in some way, shape, or form a reflection on like what the intended experience was. So I don't know. I'm in a weird spot about games. It's the sandbox I own. I mean, I don't own it because welcome to Steam and welcome to hell in 2025. I don't actually own it. But like, you know, games like all other art in a different way are a way of communicating between brains. They're a way of setting up a world in between brains of better understanding each other. They don't have to be that. But like, yeah, I don't have to make sense with the sentences I'm saying to you right now. I don't have a moral obligation to say a sentence that makes sense to you. I could say 14 random words in a row. But later, when I'm reflecting on how stream went, probably I'm going to consider, did I communicate with the people there? Did I listen to them? Did I engage with them? Did I give them anything of worth that they spent their time on? Because that's, to me, what it really gets down to at the heart of the matter is if you make art and you sell it, giving it away for free is a whole other conversation. If you make something and you sell it, somebody has exchanged their life worth under capitalism, the time they had to spend to get the money, to you so that they could spend time with a creation you made. At that point, I think you owe them something, and I think they owe you a very little bit. I think there is a little bit of owing that happens there. And we could be cynical and nihilistic and say that nothing is owed at all. But what are we here for? We spent time together. That's kind of the most important fucking thing we could do. And if we're going to spend time together, shouldn't we spend an ounce of that time considering what the other person intended? Or wanted to communicate or didn't want to communicate? What if they explicitly did not want to communicate anything at all? This gets into a lot of visual art stuff too, right? This gets into your Jackson Pollocks and your Rothkos, right? The Marina Abramovich, the artist is present. What is the trade-off? What is the trade-away when we engage with art, when we engage with an artist? I don't know, but I'm giving up my time. And they gave up something to make it for me. Does that matter? I think it matters. I think it matters a slight bit more than 0%. All I'm arguing is I think it's 0.1. I think it's 0.1, maybe 0.01. But I think there is a small moral obligation. And if you don't think so, that's fine too. But for me, personally, my time matters. I think your time matters. And that's why I'm going to go fight these guardians instead of wasting more of your time talking about art. Let's go die. This ought to be fun. This ought to be really, really fun. Art is only as good as the observer. Uncertain Prince, I love how confidently you state these things. I love it. I aspire to your level of confidence. Any sentence that starts with art is blank, and I know I'm guilty of this too. Any sentence that starts with art is blank I'm telling you, 99.9% question, not 99.9% likelihood, it can't possibly be true. Because what is art? It is the thing that escapes the boxes we try and put around it. Art is art. Art is horse. You know? All right. So there's a box in here to the south. Is that where I'm going? Is that where I'm going? Poochark, I'm going to give you VIP just because I don't want to reward you thinking alongside me. Like, I don't want to reward you for being, quote unquote, like convinced by me. But I do want to reward how thoughtfully you are experiencing this conversation. I feel like you are very thoughtfully engaging with this conversation. Take VIP for the day. Also, thanks for coming over to my side of things. To the south. This ought to be real bad. To the south, I see a chest. Not this chest? Probably not this chest, right? Depends what is intended. God damn it. That one's for Pexi, by the way. I gotta tell you, that would have been a lot easier had I not decided to have a 30-minute off-the-wall existential freak out about the nature of art and how lonely/not lonely art can make you. I am very sorry that I went for that rant. That would have been really quick to get. Shout out to Uncertain Prince for the idea to go get that. Let's get the fuck out of here. What were we doing? What were we doing? Is it intended to warp away from the Guardians here? I already had my intended playthrough. You better believe. I mean, if you watched that original playthrough, I probably talked about what the developers intended a couple times. Okay. Llamas? Prodigal son. Okay, we've got the thing. What's our inventory look like? What's our inventory look like? So we have 4 fairies, which is pretty good. We've got the barbarian thing now, which is fun in case we decide that we need to restart from scratch. Our bow situation's not amazing, but not terrible. I think we probably should go to the... On the way to the castle, we should try and get probably 3 to 4 better items. And a better bow. And I think that will be enough to then get some practice in. So I think we're going to the castle. We'll go to the castle. You just got a blood moon, so I think there should be some respawns. I had the exact same thought. I think we can get that crusher again in the outside of the dining hall. I think we want the crusher. I think we want the royal bow inside of... Sorry. Dining hall? The place with the Lizalfos. Library. Royal bow inside of the dining hall. And then... I don't know from there. Not sure. Okay, so here's the next thing we need to think about. Are there any other items in the castle that we really want to farm right now? Weapons? Shields? Do those moblins up in the dining hall have different shields? I don't know. We're pretty good on shields, probably, but... Go hit a Lizalfos, please. Go whack a Lizalfos over the head with this shit. Uh-oh. Leave me alone. I do not... I could... Now, here's the other question. Do we grab your... Oh, shit. That didn't kill me. Shouldn't that have killed me like we did last time? Do we grab your thing? We should. Okay, we'll grab that. Get out of here. Stone Crusher, right? Are you headed out, Ikelos? Okay, Stone Smasher. Sorry, Stone Smasher. That's great. We want to get rid of this. We have room for basically one more item. And I would prefer... And potentially a royal bow instead of that. So... Did you use up all the bomb arrows? I don't think... So I think our bomb arrows... Yeah, we're good. So I think our arrows should be basically what they were last time we were here. Because we have not really used a ton more since then. Okay, this is all good. Ah! I almost fell off. Bye, Ikelos. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me rant at you guys about art. I appreciate you so much. I feel so lucky that I can do both. I can do a little bit of playing Breath of the Wild and a little bit of ranting. Dining Hall's just up the thing from this, right? I'm pretty sure. That's a two-handed weapon. Yeah. Dining Hall is over here and to the left. I remember now. Okay. Hi, Minty Cuppa. How's it going? See ya! I don't think there is necessarily anything else here that I need. Yep, just ignore you. Moblin here. The Moblin has another Royal Claymore, so we should grab that. I whiffed. Okay, so hold up. We should grab the Royal Claymore. Perfect. Is there a shield or anything here? No. That's the bad bow. That is a... one of those. They're not very durable, but we'll take it. Then we get out of here. I thought you wanted more one-handed weapons. Originally I did, and then we figured out the two-handed combo is not that difficult. Hopefully. So we'll see. Wait, did I want more two-handed weapons? So that I could do more shit. So that I could block with the shield. No, we're gonna leap back. We're leaping back. One-handed combo is just one hit more. I think it's 4. I think it's 2 more. Go here. But the thing I'm thinking is, didn't I want... Yeah, you guys are not going to have shields, obviously. You've got this shit. I want this bow because it has better durability, and I'm going to need bow durability. I think probably I should drop this Royal Guard Sword, which is 48, but is not that great, for another Stone Smasher. Is that too many Stone Smashers, dude? I don't know. Or I could just drop this Lionel Crusher for it. The nice thing about boomerangs is they serve a couple purposes. Boomerangs are great because either way, I can't actually break the shield with them. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good upgrade. I feel too slow using two-handed weapons. I prefer one-handed with shield. I feel that way too, generally. And I especially feel that way against Thunderblight. But hopefully we can pull off backflip, 2 swings that we don't do too early. Break the shield, slaughter that shit with arrows. Go from there. Could take it over the Phrenic bow. That's a good point too. Chat, yes or no? Do I take this? Do I take an extra rock stone smasher? One extra stone smasher over a Lionel Crusher, or over a Great Frost Blade. Damn, now I don't know what to. Probably over this, right? Extra rock smasher. What's the damage? It's 42, so it's an upgrade of damage. Make sure you land a beat, then go. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a little chaotic, but we have to hit a shock arrow while we are close. We really do not want to lose fairies here. Stone Smasher over Crusher. Okay. We're going to get close. Pop it, grab the thing, sprint out. I didn't drop the shit. We still keep the elemental weapon this way. Switch armor, just in case. Okay, now we need to get out of here and get up. Forgot there was a second door there. Okay, we're in a good spot. Shit, how do you get out of here? Sure, I can exit here. Oh boy. I might have fucked up. That honestly did not do as much damage as I thought it was going to do. Thunderblade here. Take me outside. I don't want to be here. Aren't there more arrows somewhere along here? No? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. It's always raining. It's always raining. It's almost sunny. Uh-oh. No! No! I think I can reload. RIP our fairy. We have to have 4 fairies going into this fight. Wrong hat for climbing? I don't know what... I hope I put on the Royal Guard one. My goal was jump higher in the rain, but I think the rain's almost over, so... should probably switch. Oh! That's fine. So it's raining, but only for like 2 more minutes. So we will check on we'll just check on. Grab an apple. Okay. Okay, it's 2:49. Are we gonna get there, chat? Are we gonna beat Thunderblight today? What do you think? Somehow this is another way I have never gone before. Get there. No, I appreciate your honesty. Prediction? We'll do predictions, don't worry. Oh, we'll grab some predictions. Fine. Ready for me to run a prediction? I would say you can run one when we're almost to the top. Just about beating about beating Ganon. What do you guys think, chat? Do you want it? Why did I do that? You guys want a beat Ganon or beat Thunderblight prediction? God, this music is so good. Oh, I do have the Zora shirt. Yeah, good point. Did I have that last time? Yeah, I did. Uh-oh. Nope, not allowed. Oh, boy. This is kind of sketchy, though. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is bad. You missed? Get on the wall, please. I jumped. Fuck. Both? On Thunder or Ganon? I think it would need to be... yeah, we could do both, I guess. You could do Thunderblight and then do another one from there. That's all right. All we have to do is get there once, chat, and once we're there, we have the travel thing. This is the nature of being a little 3-heart boy. You just run around, you get fucked a little bit. You make it eventually. Also, you could just take a different route. If we try over here. Oh, that's more shit. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Jump, jump. Run like the wind. Perfect. Okay. This is objectively a worse spot. I'm just going to take damage here, right? Get out of there. That's fine. Only 83... I feel like I came up this way once, but maybe it was not quite right here. Oh yeah, this works way better. Oh boy, it's a little sketchy. It's a lot sketchy. This is a good spot though. This is a great spot. I know I've made it from here. Uh-oh. We're gonna save right as a Guardian's, right as the panic piano starts. Anxiety piano. Can you be... Oops. Just go get the fairies once you have the travel point. Where's the fun in that? Running for that one right there. This is what we're doing this time. Cannot overstate how actually useful the Zora's Domain armor has been. Honest to God. I feel like this armor has been really helpful. Block you. The fish armor. Okay, I may have used too much stamina there. Oops. Am I high enough yet? Am I high enough yet? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Okay. Okay, gamers. Mods, if you want to run a Thunderblight prediction, let's do it. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Chat. Oh, thank Christ. Okay. Woo, boy, I was about to be like, if there's some secret sauce where you can't put the travel point inside of the. Oh boy. Good luck. I got to go to the dentist office now. Good luck. All right. So here's what we know. Here's what we know. We are going to, when we get to Thunderblight Ganon with 4 fairies, or at least with 2, we are going to equip a wooden shield. We are going to equip a 2-handed weapon. Now you might be saying, Ryan, doesn't matter if you have a 2-handed weapon if you also have a shield. Well, I can hit B to put my thing away and then use the shield to block the lightning. That's gonna be the goal. We are going to attempt to hop back, wait until we hit 1, 2 for the combo. I don't even know if that was a combo technically. 1, 2. Break the shield. Ancient arrow the shit out of this sucker. And go crazy. So, to start, though, we start with bomb arrows for Wind Blight and a 2-handed weapon and a... Yeah, that's good. Okay. Woo! Bitter Blue's headed out. Bye, Bitter Blue. Here goes nothing. 50-50 on the dot on the prediction. Never mind. 51% of people disbelieve. This one's for the 51% of people.